Hi there. So I was just reading my copy of Howl's Moving Castle, released about 20 years before the film debut by Studio Ghibli. Ghibli? I don't know. The film has since become the center of not only animation discourse, but film discourse as a whole, for how influential it was and impactful in so many people's lives, even being nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars. The book, however, at least to my knowledge, is not as talked about. Remakes, adaptations, whatever you want to call them. It's translating a story in one medium and taking it to another. It can result in masterpieces that last generations or crimes against humanity. But why does it always go, or usually go, in one direction? Book to movie. Why not the other way around? And I think that sort of hints at a sense of hierarchy. A hierarchy in art and how we view it. So, let's say we're going to go forward with this theory. Books would probably be at the bottom, right? The source of some of the greatest stories of all time, but rarely the medium of adaptations of other works. And then above that would be movies, what books are usually adapted into. But even that has its own subsects. Animation, then live action. Time and time again, we see animated classics from Disney and other studios being rushed to translate into the live action. Of course, there's the monetary aspect to it and trying to appeal to the nostalgia of many people's childhood. And despite the intricacies and the depth of storytelling of many animated films, both old and new, they're still treated as second-rate, as a childish form, feeder for the live-action format. They're treated as a little kid medium that could someday be translated into a film more suitable for mature audiences. It's a ridiculous sentiment, but it's reinforced by the audience, reinforced by us. A prime example of this is Miles Morales in the Spider-Verse movies, and how there are continuous demands to bring the character into the MCU, into the live-action world of more stakes, more grittiness, more authenticity, despite how inauthentic most modern Hollywood blockbusters seem to be. So let's go back to the pyramid, let's call it. Books, and then movies. You would think that this sort of relates to our sensory engagement with these mediums. Books primarily only use sight, if you're not counting imagination. Movies, however, have the advantage of utilizing sound as well to appeal to the audience. However, that would then imply that video games are at the top, above movies, as they use sight, sound, and touch. Video game to movie adaptations are all too common nowadays and show very little signs of stopping. And the other way, apart from a few non-commercial examples, are rare. So what is this actually about? Ease, comfort, involvement. To put on a movie is a lot different from picking up a book or even a game. The latter two take far more mental involvement and energy, having to delve into the story of the book or situate yourself in the actions of the character and be willing to take the reins. It's far different from putting a movie on the TV, sitting on the couch and scrolling on your phone. It's far less commitment. If you start a movie that you don't like, there is no pressure to continue watching it. You could turn it off and you could find something else, especially with the plethora of films provided by streaming services. There's no emotional attachment, no commitment, no involvement. Even when I go to the movie theater, it's hard not to spot at least one person with their phone idly in their hands. A perfect distraction that takes away from the engrossment of the experience. My current relationship with the MCU is complicated, as I'm sure it is for many people. They've been a source of inspiration and growth for me since I was a kid. But these films too are essentially remakes of the comic book counterparts of the characters, translating them for a far greater, broader, I should say, audience. With Deadpool and Wolverine only a few days away at the time of this video, I'm scared, but also hopeful. It's a reminder of why I don't want to discredit remakes or adaptations altogether, because they do have potential to expand beyond the source material and achieve greatness in their own right. Growing up with the Harry Potter movies are what led me to explore the books, heightening my appreciation for them. So perhaps that's what we should be focusing on. Not remaking or replacing, but complementing. Creating works in different mediums that introduce future generations to the media we love without trying to upend or replace their original charm. Meanwhile, giving the creative teams behind these projects enough freedom to experiment and create something that could stand on its own. Hollywood is, and likely will continue to be, in a dire state for some time. But I have hope that it could change for the better. And hopefully, you do too.